In 2020, as Khabib Nurmagomedov dominated the UFC, fans marveled at his skills. While the world focused on Khabib's undefeated record, his father, Abdulmanap, had already trained numerous world champions, revolutionizing the landscape of mixed martial arts. Abdulmanap Magomedovich Nurmagomedov was born on December 10, 1962, in the village of Sildi. Growing up in the harsh Dagestani landscape, young Abdulmanap was no stranger to physical challenges. His journey in combat sports began early in his life. He started wrestling when he was in 6th grade and also developed a passion for football. By the age of 13, each day, Abdulmanap would cycle 22 kilometers, walk 8 kilometers, and spend 2 hours training on the wrestling mat. He believed strongly in the benefits of training by the sea, practicing on the beach every day except weekends. Abdulmanap often said that anyone could achieve their goals by training in the cool sea air. In May 1974, Abdulmanap participated in his first competition. He finished second, losing in the final. However, this loss proved to be a valuable learning experience. Despite this setback, Abdulmanap's athletic talents weren't limited to wrestling. He was also an accomplished football player, competing at the second-tier club level. As he grew older, Abdulmanap found success in regional wrestling and judo tournaments. However, in 1987, he made the decision to step away from competitive sports and focus on coaching instead. He graduated from the Poltava University of Economics and Trade with a degree in accounting and economics. During his time in the Soviet Army, Abdulmanap's martial arts journey truly took flight. Here, he expanded his range, adding judo and sambo to his already formidable wrestling skills. After his military service, Abdulmanap returned to Dagestan with a vision. He saw the potential in the raw talent of the region's youth and was determined to channel it into something positive. In a land often torn by conflict and economic hardship, he believed that martial arts could offer a path to greatness and a way to stay clear of negative influences. His first taste of success as a coach came when he started training his brother for the World Sambo Championship, representing Ukraine's national team. In 1992, his brother Nurmagomedov Nurmagomedov secured the World Sambo Championship title. This early success motivated him to return to his home in Dagestan, where he established the renowned Manapov School. This training center would go on to produce numerous top-tier fighters. As Abdulmanap's reputation grew, so did his family. He married and had 3 children, 2 sons, Magomed and Khabib, and a daughter, Amina. One of them, Khabib, would become one of the greatest mixed martial artists of all time, carrying his father's legacy to the highest levels of the sport. From a young age, Khabib was immersed in his father's world of combat sports. Abdulmanap let 9-year-old Khabib wrestle with bears. Khabib said, "My father used to let me fight with a bear. When I told him the bear tried to bite me, he said, 'Bite him back.'" While these methods might seem extreme to outsiders, they were part of Abdulmanap's philosophy of building not just physical strength, but mental toughness and unbreakable resolve. As Khabib's skills developed, Abdulmanap saw in his son the potential to achieve greatness on the world stage. He crafted a long-term plan, meticulously guiding Khabib's career from local competitions in Dagestan to the grand stages of the UFC. Under Abdulmanap's guidance, Khabib became an unstoppable force in the octagon. His grappling-heavy style, honed through years of training with his father, proved to be a puzzle that no opponent could solve. As Khabib's star rose in the UFC, so did Abdulmanap's reputation as a master coach. His methods, which emphasized pressure, suffocating grappling, and mental toughness, became the stuff of legend in the MMA world. But Khabib wasn't the only success story from Abdulmanap's students. Over the years, he trained 18 world champions. His stable of fighters read like a who's who of MMA talent: Islam Makhachev, who would go on to become a UFC champion; Usman Nurmagomedov, Khabib's cousin and a rising star in Bellator; Sultan Aliyev, a veteran of both the UFC and Bellator; Ikram Aliskerov, a UFC middleweight and 2016 FIES Combat Sambo World Champion; Magomedrasul Kazbulayev, the current ACA featherweight champion and 2010 WCSF Sambo World Champion and 3-time WCSF Sambo World Champion; Rustam Kabalov, a Bellator welterweight and 2007 WCSF Sambo World Champion. As the head coach of Eagles MMA, Abdulmanap's influence in the world of mixed martial arts continued to grow. His coaching methods, which emphasized wrestling and grappling techniques, became renowned worldwide. The bond between Abdulmanap and Khabib was particularly special. In interviews, Khabib often spoke of his father with a mixture of respect, love, and a touch of fear. Abdulmanap was not just Khabib's coach, he was his moral compass, his harshest critic, and his biggest supporter. Their relationship was the stuff of legend in the MMA world, a partnership that seemed unbreakable. Abdulmanap's influence on Khabib's career cannot be overstated. He was there every step of the way, from Khabib's earliest fights in Dagestan to his crowning as the UFC lightweight champion. Even when visa issues prevented him from being in Khabib's corner for his UFC fights, Abdulmanap's presence was felt. Khabib often spoke to his father immediately after his fights, seeking his approval and advice. He emphasized the importance of education, encouraging his students to pursue their studies alongside their training. He believed that a well-rounded individual would make a better fighter and a better person. As Abdulmanap's reputation grew, so did the recognition of his achievements. In September 2019, he was named by the Russian Book of Records as the most successful combat sambo coach in the country. Some of his honors include Honored Coach of Russia, Senior Coach of the National Team of the Republic of Dagestan, and Master of Sports of the USSR in freestyle wrestling. In 2020, the world faced an unexpected opponent, COVID-19. In April of that year, Abdulmanap was hospitalized with bilateral pneumonia caused by the virus. Despite being moved to Moscow for better treatment, his condition worsened. The MMA community held its breath, hoping for a recovery. Tragically, on July 3, 2020, Abdulmanap Nurmagomedov passed away due to complications from COVID-19. He was 57 years old. The news sent shockwaves through the combat sports world. Tributes poured in from fighters, coaches, and fans around the globe. Even Khabib's fiercest rivals, including Conor McGregor, set aside their differences to offer condolences. Khabib, devastated by the loss, withdrew from public life for a time. When he returned to the octagon on October 24, 2020 for UFC 254, it was with a heavy heart. After defeating Justin Gaethje to retain his lightweight title, Khabib made an announcement. He was retiring from the sport. In his retirement speech, Khabib said, "No way I'm going to come here without my father. It was first time after what happened with my father when UFC called me about Justin. I talked with my mother 3 days. She doesn't want me to go fight without my father, but I promised her it was going to be my last fight." A special episode of the documentary series Dagestan Land of Warriors has been released as a tribute to Abdulmanap Nurmagomedov. This episode honors the life and legacy of Abdulmanap. Abdulmanap's passing marked the end of an era, but his legacy lives on. After retirement, his son Khabib is now a full-time coach. The coaching methods he developed continue to be used in gyms across Dagestan and beyond. The values he instilled in his fighters, discipline, respect, and humility, continue to shape the careers of countless athletes. That marks the end of the video. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe to our channel for more interesting videos.